Hello, all you lovely cronies! Welcome back to Grumpy Old Crone, which, as some of you will know, is a space on YouTube for me to be a grumpy old person shouting at clouds. And when I say clouds, I generally mean things in the witchcraft and pagan communities that, don't really matter all that much to most people. But oddly matter quite a lot to me, and then I get quite cross about them. Anyway, last week I talked about the fact that I was running out of witchy aesthetic tips, because this first section only really started out as a bit of a joke, and as a person who has like a less than 50% chance of not looking like either a zombie or a clown on any given day, I don't really feel qualified to give advice to other people. I had some fabulous suggestions, most of which can be boiled down to maybe some stuff about just being a witch in everyday life, which I really kind of love. I did briefly reconsider retitling this section Live, Laugh, Leave It Out, but I'm not sure that's actually going to fit on my video banner. I had a bit of a think and a cup of tea, and I thought that maybe a good title might be Existing Whilst Witchy, which kind of covers a lot of stuff and still has some alliteration, which some people really liked, and has that fucking word witchy in it, which I still hate but is perversely useful. So anyway, welcome to, and I hope this fits on my banner when I come to edit it, Existing Whilst Witchy. I mean, it's a lot like witchy aesthetics, but a bit broader, a bit like me after the salt and vinegar Pringles, to be fair. Similar, yet oddly broader. And today, what I'm going to cover is a stupid tip that I accidentally discovered a few years ago, but is definitely relevant to day-to-day life as a person who likes setting fire to things in a small and controllable fashion, i.e. a witch. So a helpful hint for today is, if like me, you've got glass candle holders, and when your candle runs out, you're left with this bit that it won't come out. It's completely stuck, and you've no idea how to get them out. Here's a hint. Okay, so the main problem with me is that, as you can see, my hurricane lamp kicks out a little bit at the bottom, so the melted wax got into like the little flared bottom there, and then just solidified, so I can't get it out. So what I need to do is get that out. So what I have done is I have boiled the Englishman's best friend, the kettle, and then I'm going to pour boiling hot water into here. Now, as you can probably see, it's starting to act a little bit like a lava lamp. All of the wax is starting to melt. And for a minute, I went quiet because I thought that these were cracks in the glass. I thought, oh no, that's going to go bang in a second. No, but it's fluff. It is fluff. But you can see the boiling water is melting all of this wax, which is then doing the waxy, oily thing of settling at the top. So what we're going to do is leave this to melt, and it might take a couple of passes, but we're going to leave this and come back to it in about an hour's time. Okay, it's not an hour's time, but I've got to tell you this. I have just figured out what this fluff is. That's actually, oh, there goes a big bit. It's actually my burnt hair. Do you remember when I made the little vlog about the time I accidentally burnt my hair by leaning over a candle? It was this candle. That's my friggin' hair. You can see how it's burnt at the end. Typical. Right, well, you can tell I don't make these things up, can't you? So here we are. This is the first disc. That's quite a thick one, as you can see there. But this one, thinner again. And I'm just going to empty this out. I'll be back in a second. So there we are, water out. Just didn't want to show you my slightly mucky sink. It's got some washing up in it. Oop. But as you can see, this is still not coming out. So what we need, and this will come as no surprise to anybody, is more boiling water. And honestly, just keep doing this time after time. Typical. It's been like 5 seconds since I turned off the video. I just thought I'd top up a little bit more hot water because there was a little bit of a wax mark around here. So I thought I'd top it up beyond that, so that melted off as well. And look, the whole thing has just floated straight up. I know, I'm not going to put my hand in there now because that's boiling hot, but this little metal bit on the bottom, the little metal wick anchor, that will just lift straight out once it's all clean. So there we go, 3 loads of water. All of that kind of stuffed in wax has come out, and this is going to be as clean as a new pin after I give it a tiny little scrub. So I'll let you see it in a minute, and yeah, there we go. So finally, after 3 washes of boiling water, what I've got is 3 little discs that just came off of the top. There we go. That's the first one, so that was a bit thicker. And I'm going to put all of those into my spare wax container, ready to melt down and reuse. And if you want to know what the actual candle lantern looks like, there we go. So now I have a lovely clean hurricane lantern to use for my midsummer candles. I do recommend trying this for the first time in a bowl, because if there's a flaw in your glass, the glass can crack and then you'll end up with broken glass and boiling water everywhere, which is less than optimal. I think we can all agree. Safety first. Also, be aware of thermal shock, if you know what I mean. Anything that's too cold that suddenly gets extremely hot can break, and anything that is too hot and then gets extremely cold can do the same. The first time you do it, I'd recommend the bowl method, like a plastic bowl, and maybe put some like tap hot water in it, the kind of water that you'd wash up a drinking glass that really needs a good scrub. So just about as hot as you can manage your fingers to go, and then put that in there and put the candle lantern in it for just a little while so it warms up slightly, and it will just warm the glass so that when you put the boiling water in, won't be so much of a risk. Now, if you save wax remnants, stick the leftover discs into your wax melting pot and they will make a lovely new candle at some point in the future. Waste nothing. Right, so having cleaned up your candle glass, it is now time to head into the land of meat and 2 potatoes. Now, if you're new here, I should probably explain that this bit is like my main grump, my main subject matter of the video. Meat and 2 potatoes, it's kind of English colloquial slang for the main meal of the day, the meat and 2 potatoes. Thinking about it, I probably ought to have explained that a year ago at least. Sorry to everyone who's been a little bit confused. Okay, so there we go. Now, this is going to get dangerous here because I am not scripting this bit. Normally, I have kind of like rough notes so that I know where I'm going and how long I should be speaking-ish. Digressions not allowed. But in this case, I'm not going to script it, so anything could happen, literally anything. My digressions could mean that this ends up as some kind of epic 3-hour tirade. I'll try not to, but at this point, honestly, I make no promises. I've been asked a few times for actual reviews of some of the Witchy subscription boxes that are available. Now, way back when I started this channel, I did a mindful box review based off of their terrible advertising. And since then, you know, a few dozen people have asked me for more reviews of these things. Now, the other night I was lying in bed waiting for Mr. Grumpy Old Crone to get out of the shower, finish brushing his teeth and settle in for the night, and I was just scrolling through my phone as you do, and an advert for a half-price witch box came up. So I can't explain this, I can't excuse it. I was tired, it was hot. I mean, it's still really bloody hot here. I don't know if I'm shiny, I'm probably slightly shiny despite having just got out of the shower. I'm so hot. But anyway, I was tired, it was hot, I've got no more valid excuses than that, so yeah, I clicked it, I ordered it. I also ordered a witch casket subscription, but the postman refused to leave that one behind the bin when I was out yesterday. So that's going to have to be a video all on its own. Stay tuned. But I did get the witch box one, and I'm going to look at it now. Beware that this is not really an unboxing. because I opened it yesterday and Mr. Grumpy Old Crone and I had a good hour of riffing off of the contents. My favourite part, I've got to tell you, I'm almost tempted to get him to come back in to reprise it, although it wouldn't be nearly so funny the second time. But my favourite part was his inability to say the word wormwood and consistently managed to say woodwood instead, to which I obviously would inevitably fall into shouting, "Oh Christ, Jesus Lord, no!" in a very bad Scottish accent. It happened at least 5 times last night, and if this makes no sense to you whatsoever, I really recommend watching the 1973 Wicker Man with Edward Woodward, which is a traditional, feel-good, pagan sing-along musical for all the family. I think we can agree. So anyway, on with the Witch Box. What I got was the Witch Box. Now, it came in this box, which unfortunately kind of got a bit mullered in the post. There's some pictures that I'm going to put up here of what it looked like when it arrived. But, you know, it came quickly, so I can't really argue about that. Unfortunately, inside, because the lid of the box was kind of broken and torn up, I imagine that if it hadn't been broken up, then I would have had like a really pretty tissue paper package to open. As it was, the tissue paper is kind of a bit ripped and what have you. But you know, that's not their fault, is it? That's the post office, so I can't argue about that. But there we go. Rummage, rummage, rummage. All of a sudden, I'm an ASMR channel. So, what did I get? So we'll go through these things quickly and then we'll look at them in more detail. So first of all, I got, hold on, I ought to, there we go. It is Witch Box Book of Spells, which, yeah, we'll look at that later. We got a crystal dowsing pendulum. A mushroom notebook, a spell kit for protection, healing and clarity, some little cards in a little polyester bag, a card with some stuff on it, some candles, candle holder. No, it's not a candle holder. It's an incense stick holder. Some boxes of stuff. Another postcard. Incense. A scroll. And a box that falls off of my table. And a magical woodland embroidery kit. So let's look at what we've got here. Honestly, get yourself a drink. Pause me, get yourself a drink. I think I could be here quite a while. The first thing that I got, or like in the bottom here, was the magical woodland, can't hear my voice behind here, magical woodland embroidery kit, which is very nice. Now, my first question would be, why is this in a witch box? Are witches meant to like embroidery? So we've got a plastic embroidery hoop. I used to embroider, I should say. So I've got a plastic embroidery hoop and I've got a kit here which has got instructions, some floss and a printed bit of fabric. Now, I did look this up. I said I opened this yesterday, and so I took that opportunity to do a little bit of research, and I found that this is for sale on a French website for €9. So that's actually, I think, a relatively high value item in there. €9, that is not bad. I will say that it's not exactly for the beginner. These are all the instructions that you get don't feel that this is essential to my existence as a witch, frankly. And nice though it is, and I do like mushrooms. Not all witches like mushrooms. I feel that's a bit of a leap into the dark there. And the main thing is that I, as a grumpy old crone of a certain age, I don't think I actually have the eyesight to do this anymore. So I am probably going to have to give the magical woodland embroidery kit to somebody else, because while it's a nice thing and it's a high value thing to have received in this box, it's boggle use to me because I can't see it well enough. Honestly, frankly, this is going to take hours, which is great if hours is a thing that you have. But I don't. And plus, I wasn't expecting craft items. Well, when I say the craft I was expecting items about was witchcraft, not needlecraft. So I was a little bit surprised by that. Also, it didn't appear to have a needle in it, which, you know, kind of a bit of a mistake for an embroidery thing. But still, it was a nice thing. I just don't see how it ties into the box. So, oh, that's the other thing I should say, is that this box was a cheap one. That's why I hit I didn't hit subscribe. I just bought this one-off box. And I think that the things in this box are leftovers made up from other subscription boxes, and I think they theme their other subscription boxes a bit more heavily than this one was. So whatever. But we'll go through it. So this box, I should say up front, was £15. Now, having said that, if it was £15 and I've got like a €9 embroidery kit, that's pretty high value, I think. And if I was into embroidery, I'd probably be quite pleased with that. So next up is the postcard. Here we go. Here's your postcard. And it says, "The first time I called myself witch, a door opened and I felt magical." I would like to point out, magical with a K. Why does it always have a K on it? That's not how you spell magical. Does it not feel sufficiently magical if you spell it properly? I don't know. And then we've got some random runes. Runes around a pentacle. I feel that is confusing witchcraft and heathenry myself, but there we go. That's just me being opinionated, I suspect, like you expected. So there we go. I don't see the point of that. It's a little piece of glossy, and because it's glossy, it can't be recycled. Bollocks, really. I don't get that. Right, okay. Incense. Now, if you followed me, you will know that I quite like incense. And in fact, I was burning some downstairs because I had to go along to Raven's Hearth the other day to pick some stuff up, and they do a particularly nice brand of incense in there. So I saw Shanice at Raven's Hearth and I got some really nice incense, which I have been stinking out downstairs with my poor husband. So what is this? This is Black Magic Elements. Okay, I mean, I recognise the packaging. The packaging is the same as like the Stamford incense. What does it smell like? That's quite nice, actually. I like that. I would use that. I don't think it's 100% natural, but I still like it. A little bit of room setting. I mean, it's a strong enough smell that you could actually just use it without setting fire to it if incense is not your thing. That's quite nice, and I reckon a couple of quid for that. I think that's pretty high value. I'd be happy with that. Well, high value. I mean, it's not like a £9 embroidery kit, but unlike the £9 embroidery kit, I will actually use that. So yay, like the incense. I've got like these little boxes of stuff. Now, the thing I should say about this is it's all super branded. It's very heavily branded, and you can see there's the little logo and there's the little printed things, and they're all very nice, and they all have these. Now, this one is Rubosh. Now, when I was opening these with Mr. Grumpy Old Crone, I said, "Oh, we've got Rubosh," and he said, "Like the tea?" And I said, "Yes, just like the tea." And then I looked at it, warning, do not consume. So maybe not like the tea. Who knows? So I opened it, and inside we have got the ubiquitous. Now, if you don't know what that word means, once again, I will say never use a dull one when an interesting word will do. Ubiquitous means literally bloody everywhere. Little craft jars, right? I don't see the point of little craft jars. If you're going to have ingredients, put them in a whocking great jam jar or a coffee jar. You know, what's the point in piddling about with little things? So anyway, here we have got a nice little craft jar of rhubarb, and it's a very attractive little jar. It's pointlessly small. So let's open it and answer Mr. Grumpy Old Crone's question. Is it like tea? Yeah, I think it's exactly like tea, actually. It's just rhubarb tea, but do not consume. I mean, I don't know what... You know what? I have never used rhubarb in a spell. I don't even know what spell I would use it in. I should go and check that in Cunningham, actually. I will attempt to put that onto the... onto the screen. So rhubarb in a pointless little glass jar, fair enough. And here we have lavender bath salt. So what have we got here? We have got another ubiquitous, great word, use it at least once today, bath salt, which do smell faintly of lavender. Soapy. I probably shouldn't ought to taste everything, should I? But you know, hey ho. If I die, then you know, everybody go to my Patreon and support my funeral. But but I don't think I'm going to die from licking Epsom salts. They're just Epsom salts with a little bit of lavender in, which is fine. But it's got to be a pretty small bath to put those in. I mean, when Mr. Gok has a bath, it tends to be like half a cup of the things go in. So okay. Very small. I don't think they're really a spell ingredient, are they? I know, maybe a ritual bath, I don't know. But lavender isn't really purification. It's kind of like sleepy, snoozy, kind of relaxation-y stuff. Who knows? What have we got here? We have got fennel seeds. Fennel seeds. Being a gardener, I would be tempted to just plant these. And once again, it says, I'm pretty sure it says, they all say do not consume, even when the things are obviously consumable. Oh, yeah, those are nice and strong. I thought they were going to be like old, worn out ones. I would probably plant those, to be honest. And fennel seeds, yeah, okay, they can be quite useful as an ingredient. But once again, I'd probably want more than that. But, you know, it's a start, I guess. That's okay. And a nice touch is that all of these tiny little glass jars, however I feel about them, they all have nice little stickers and labels on them. So if you are building them up into a collection on your ridiculously tiny herb shelf, then they'll look nice and you'll be able to tell what they all are. They smell fresh. They're nice. I like those. I would probably use them. And finally, oh yeah. So I'm going to say to you, if there's going to be one thing that you're going to get in a witch box, that's the one most important thing that you're ever going to get. What are you going to get? Salt. I mean, it's just sea salt. It even says sea salt. Once again, does it say do not consume? Yeah, do not consume. Do not consume anything in this box. Yeah, it's just sea salt. But once again, I mean, I don't know about other people, but when I use sea salt, well, any kind of salt really, it goes everywhere. I scatter tons of the stuff unless I'm outside, because obviously salt and the ground aren't brilliant for one another. But if I'm inside, then, you know, it goes everywhere. So, I don't know. So there's not much of that. Personally, I have a great big, well, I don't even have a coffee jar of it. I've got like a big Tupperware tub of salt. But, you know, hey-ho. Horses for courses. So yeah, so you've got like 4 little beautifully branded. I wonder how much they spend on the boxes for these. Still 4 little branded things. I suppose if you get 4 in every box, then they build up into a library of ridiculously tiny spell components that you may or may not want to use. So there's that. Oh God. this. So what does this say? It has a little label and it says, it's getting hot in here. Oh, that sounds like a song lyric that I'm not going to go any further with. Anyway, enchanted spell candles. Oh, turning into my mother again with the glasses. Infused with herbs and a little magic, spelt with a K, always with a K, to add love and light to your spells. Doesn't tell you how it adds love and light to your spells, and does appear to have glitter and some random shitty herbs on the top. I can't tell what any of them are. They're just, there might be some rose in there. That's it. They're just tea lights. They're tea lights with some glitter and some rose petals on. I don't think they're very enchanted, I'll be honest. I wouldn't trust that. Next, I'm conflicted about this. I'm really conflicted about it because when I first looked at it, I thought, is that a Star of David? I don't know anything about Jewish witchery. If there is even such a thing, I literally know nothing about it. I should have done some research and I don't. But I find having another religion's symbol on something a bit problematic. And I mentioned this to Mr. Gok, and he said he didn't think it was a Star of David. And I think he's probably right. Because it also looks a little bit like kind of like the Slavic kind of sun cross, like the 8-armed swastika that is not a swastika. And also apparently it's used in Hindu teachings as well. The 6 kind of like 2 opposing triangles thing. I don't know what my hands are doing there. I apologise. So it could be Hindu, it could be Slavic, it could be Jewish, or it could just be an attractive design. I would have been happier if that was just like a really obvious flower, personally, but there we go. That is just me. However, I do like the fact that it has like 4 little holes to put 4 incense sticks in, because that would enable me to choke Mr. Grumpy Old Crone 4 times more effectively than I currently do. So yeah, there's that. But it's made out of wood. It's nicely made, and I'd probably use it. I might be tempted to do something with that design though. I don't know. It's probably just me being stupid. I might fill it in with some polyfiller and do something nice with it. I don't know. We'll see. Now this, I found this fascinating. I'm going to hold it up, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see much about it. So I'm kind of going to talk behind it. Now, I am definitely coming at this from the viewpoint of a musician. Now, how this is set up with these concentric circles that are split up is how you teach the circle of fifths and chords and notes within chords and what chords go together and what don't in progressions. And I expected the different concentric circles to actually have some relevance to each other as they move either in or out. And you know what? They don't. So the outside circle has got various herbs on it. The next one in has got crystals. The next one again has got colours. And the innermost circle has got days of the week. Now, what I would expect is that if this is the day of the week you're on, then you kind of like follow it out and you see what colour the correspondence is, and then what crystals you can work with on that day, and then what herbs or plants might support those crystals, is what I would expect. But that is not what it is. It's literally just a whole bunch of correspondences. And I should say the correspondences do look right to me. But it's just a whole bunch of correspondences arranged in a circular format. I don't get what use that is. I would far rather have had that. If the only purpose was to teach you not substitution, something about last week, was to teach you correspondences, then I would have wanted them as a list, not as a circle, because the circle implies to me that something is going to be happening. that you can read it in some way, and you can't. It's just, I don't know, fairly large coaster maybe. I don't know, bit pointless. Don't see that one. What else have we got? We have got a crystal dowsing pendulum, which looks like this. Different forms of divination work for different people. For me, pendulums do not work at all. I really wanted pendulums to work for me, and I bought one. I chose it really carefully. I tuned it. I consecrated it. I held it up. I tried it. Damn thing, stock still. I could be going like this. Pendulum, stock still. So yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. It's got a little lobster clasp, so you can change over your crystal. Whilst it's not going to work for me, I can see that could work for people. And it's got a whole load of different little stones on it here. You're never going to see that because it's going to focus on my face. There we go. Little stones here. So what we've got, I'm going to assume these are right. They're not like fake. They might be fake at this price though. I'm going to guess amethyst, lapis, blue howlite pretending to be turquoise, aventurine, pretending to be citrine maybe, and then something else, and sunstone maybe, and red jasper. The red jasper looks real. The others look like glass, I'll be honest. Although I do think the actual pendulum itself is tiger's eye, and I do like a bit of tiger's eye, so it's okay, but it wouldn't work for me. Oh, look at that. Now the damn thing is wiggling. I'm not a pendulum person, but once again, you know, they don't know that when they send these things out. I mean, it's a nice thing. I can see that might be useful. We have got, like, these are going to be really difficult to see because of the light. They're kind of like little cards. They're black cards with foiled, it's probably going to shine on my face, with foiled, I think they're meant to be sigils, but they bear no resemblance to any sigil that I've ever seen before. So for example, this one is meant to be joy. Can you see that? There we go. That's meant to be joy. To me, that looks like where a slug has gone over your paving slab. Now, you get 10 of these, but you don't get any information about what they are. I mean, are these part of a bigger set? Do you have to collect them? Are they all part of your Witchbox subscription that you collect over 6 months? You end up with 60 of them? I don't know. They all do appear to be kind of a bit oracular in terms of this thing is going to happen to you. And then there's a strange slug trail sigil. I don't know where these sigils come from. They don't look like any sigils I've seen. Very odd. I mean, they're nice little things. I do love a good card, as you probably know, but I would like them to have had some description of what they are. And even if it's like in this random half-price box, then could you not just put a bit of paper in telling us what they are? I mean, surely at some point, if this is part of a set, then they would have told you what they were at some point. I don't know. Me. So then we're going to go. Now, for me, there was the embroidery kit, which was going to be about €9. So let's say, I don't know, £7, something like that. There was quite a lot of value in that. But for me, this is the thing that I'm going to keep. This is a lovely little blank notebook with nicely foiled edges and a little ribbon bookmark. I will 100% use that. Do love a good mushroom. As you can probably see, my little mushroom gnomes behind me. They're tomties. So I would 100% use that and was quite happy to see it. So that and the incense for me are kind of like the stars of this. Although I will probably use some of the other stuff. I'll definitely use the fennel seeds. So I thought my value for 15 quid definitely came in the notebook and the incense and the embroidery kit, which I will probably give away to somebody else. If you're one of my friends, keep tuned. If you would like me to send it to you and you're into embroidery, just send me an email. If you're in the UK, that would be ideal because it's going to cost like £50 million to send overseas. But if you're in the UK and you want it, you know, let me know and I'll post it to you. First person to get an email to me wins it. Now, right, now we've got three things left. Hope you've got a cup of tea because this is where it's going to get good. Okay, so we have got a scroll. Control yourselves. Right, what we have is a scroll on woodland bathing. This is going to tell us how to go woodland bathing. Now, I have never been, as far as I know, woodland bathing. I'm trying to roll this up again. Once again, we turn into an ASMR video. Brace yourselves. If I got tea, I'd slurp it. I haven't. I feel I've let you all down. I can only apologise. Ah, there we go. That's better. My scroll is now readable. So,
this practice, originating in its modern form in Japan, is becoming increasingly popular. It is a way of connecting with nature, which ancient workers of magic...
Spelt with a K, because obviously it's not magical if it's spelt correctly.
Ancient workers of magic have long seen as beneficial to health and as a way of recognising the power of the universe.
Have they? I'm not convinced about that. Anyway, woodland bathing. On we go again, because obviously you need a second title that tells you the same as the first title.
Wear comfortable clothing and footwear. Take a walk into a place where you are surrounded by woodland, taking slow, deliberate steps to get there. Stand or sit for 10 minutes or longer and take deep, slow breaths in and out. Take note with all of your senses of your surroundings. What can you smell, hear, see, perceive? Select a tree that appeals to you and stroke its trunk or a branch.
Feels a bit dodgy to me. Consent.
Feel it beneath your finger.
It's getting a bit OnlyFans here. Feel it beneath your fingers and note any smells or sounds as you do. It's definitely getting very OnlyFans. Only trees. That's what we're at. Right, anyway, sorry.
Note the colour, texture, shape of the tree as you run your hand over it. Okay, right. Do these things change when you close your eyes? Oh my God.
Before we do any of this, now I don't know if this translates into anything other than English, but if you're going into the woodland and running your hands over trees with your eyes closed, please make sure you're not in a dogging spot. And if you don't understand what I just said, please don't Google it. Please don't Google it. It's not taking your dog for a walk. Right, anyway.
If it is a fine day, take off your footwear and feel the forest beneath your feet.
Why can't you take off your footwear if it's a shitty day? Go for a paddle in the mud. That's nice. Anyway.
Dip your fingers into running water. Where's the running water? What? Sway with the wind. Rub your thumb over a stone or do anything that feels right to you. The important thing is to try and become one with the woodland, to feel its essence with all of your senses. Feel a sense of gratitude for all that nature is providing to you.
So what it's saying, and I'm going to hark back to what I was saying about substitution last week, yeah? About just taking all of the teeth out of anything. So basically it says, wear something, walk to some woodland, slowly, exist in it a bit, touch a tree, touch some other stuff that's there. That's it. This is the instructions that you're getting. There is a section at the bottom that says other things you could try. It says, if you have come prepared and have someone with you, take a wild swim or paddle. Don't swim on your own. Don't paddle on your own. We're grown-ass adults. Sorry. Take a pinch of earth and observe its smell, texture and colour. Spend some time meditating or practicing yoga. Yeah, that's not going to look weird. You're walking your German Shepherd through the woodland. All of a sudden, there's some woman blowing cinnamon and doing downward dog pose. Oh, we're back to the dogging, aren't we? Sorry. Anyway, pick some wild herbs such as stinging nettle. No, don't do that. Don't pick stinging nettle because it stings. Wild garlic or borage to take home. Make sure you can clearly identify them and thank the plant for its gift. So in other words, don't pick stinging nettle and accidentally go home with henbane. That would lead to bad things, I feel. Listen carefully to the sound of the woodland wildlife. Perhaps you may be visited by a curious insect, bird or mammal. I would like to tell you that at this point, Mr. Grumpy Old Crone said, poke a badger. He was very into the concept of poking a badger. Listen carefully to the sound of the woodland wildlife and poke a badger. There we go. And then finally, this was the bit that had both of us laughing hysterically on the floor, which was, now, I don't know, maybe not everybody's been to the same camps and festivals that I have, but there is a chant that you're always going to get 5 or more pagans in a group, and all of a sudden this will happen, and it is, say ritual chants such as, earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. 5 or more pagans, possibly even 2 or more pagans, it will happen. It's just you can't avoid it. It's like breathing for most pagans, I think. So it says, if you are lucky and this is the best bit. If you're lucky enough to live near woodland, you can... if you're not lucky enough to live near woodland, you can try sand or meadow bathing in a similar way. So in other words, you don't have to be in a wood. You don't have to do anything in particular. You don't have to wear anything particular. You don't have to think anything particular. You just have to be in a woodland, touch some stuff. Poke a badger. There we go. I was not impressed. Now, this I was intrigued by because I am always super dubious about buy a spell kind of things. You find them at shows all the time. They're always like in little plasticky polyester little bags of buy a spell to do whatever, and it's always the same shitty stuff. Now, is this going to be the same shitty stuff? Because I looked at it yesterday, I can probably answer this. And let's have a look. So, first of all, nicely branded. I'm liking the sticker. Spell kit for protection, healing and clarity. And your spell is, once again, why is it glossy? This is not recyclable. We have got another tea light. The tea light energy in this box is strong. We have got some rosemary, very tiny bit of rosemary. And, oh, more salt. And tiny incense cone. Patchouli. I don't know why I'm asking you. You can't smell it, can you? Patchouli. You probably think it's patchouli too. And ribbon. Right. So what is this? Spell for protection, healing and clarity. Oh my God, it's tiny. It's tiny. Will my other glasses work? No, I've got to do the middle-aged woman thing. I apologise. Oh man, you can tell I trained as a librarian, can't you? Right, okay. So let's take this off. You get me without my glasses. It's horrible. I do apologise. So method before starting the spell. I've got to do this. I can't do it. I can't. Why is it so tiny? Why have I just done 30 seconds of complaining about this being tiny? This is why I can't do the embroidery kit. Glasses. Okay, right. Before starting the spell, cleanse your area by sprinkling white salt in a circle around where you will be working. As you sprinkle the salt, say, by salt of the earth, I cleanse this space, protect this work in sacred grace. Right, so your salt, that's how much salt you've got. Okay, let's turn it around. You can see the lovely label. That is how much salt you've got. How much space is that going to... Right, it's around one shoe and you stand on one leg, maybe. And then you've got your lines of doggerel to say. But also, I would say, salt, if you're putting it around your workspace, that's a protective thing, not a cleansing thing. If you want to cleanse it, then, you know, sain it, smoke cleanse it, or a little bit of ritual spray, cleanser, spray, water, soap, broom, salts. I'm not convinced. Right. Hold the white tea light candle in your hands and close your eyes. Closing your eyes, super important, obviously. Focus on your intention. Oh, wish really hard. Whether it's protection, healing, or clarity in a particular situation. Obviously, you can't have all three, despite the fact the word "and" is very clearly there. You can only have one of them. Visualize a glowing white light surrounding you. Okay, right. I call upon the light to shine, to heal and protect me at this time. So you've put down salt, and then you're setting up a protective white light wards after the salt cleanse. Well, seems arse about face to me, but there we go. Place the candle in the centre of your working space, like around your shoes, so maybe between your feet. And light it. Okay, right. Then light the patchouli incense. Place in a suitable holder first, which they don't give you, obviously. And let its grounding, protective energy fill the room. Is patchouli grounding? So you've drawn a salt circle. You've envisaged white lights around you, but not on the circle, which is not how I do it, but you know, hey ho. You've lit your candle and then you've grounded. This is very arse about face. Right, as you light the incense, say, there's a lot of doggerel to say here. Sacred smoke, rise and swirl, ground me deep within this world. I hate doggerel. I really hate doggerel. Take the ribbon. Oh God, this is so tiny. Take the ribbon, and as you tie 3 knots in it, state your intention clearly with each knot, such as, with this knot I bind protection. With this knot I bind healing. With this knot I bind clarity. Okay? So you don't have to pick one, you can pick all 3, according to this ribbon. Right, okay. As you tie the knots, feel the energy of your intention being woven into the ribbon. How do you feel that if you're a beginning witch and you don't know how energy feels? It doesn't tell you, does it? It's just kind of expecting you to get on with it. Right. Hold a small pinch of the rosemary. There's our rosemary. Not much of it. There we go. Ah! Oh no, I've dropped it. Hold on. It's okay, I'm back. Right. Rosemary. Hold a small pinch of the rosemary over the flame of the tea light, carefully without burning it. Do you think they mean in your fingers? Because that's interesting. Okay. Hold a small pinch. Hold a small pinch. Hold? I would think holding is something you do with your fingers. And besides, we haven't got any other ritual equipment to do it with. So, okay. Hold a small pinch of the rosemary over the flame of the tea light, carefully, without burning it. I would hope you didn't burn it, because you burn your fingers long before that. Or wave it through the incense smoke. As you do, say, herb of courage, cleansing, and might. Well, rosemary isn't any of that. That's not what rosemary is about. Right. Herb of courage, cleansing, and might, guide me true with inner sight. This is for inner sight. I thought this was for protection, healing, and clarity. Interesting. Place the rosemary next to the candle. You don't do anything else with the rosemary. You waft it through a flame and then put it next to it. By the power to complete the spell, say, by the power of the earth, air, fire, and sea. Earth, air, fire, and sea? Oh, sea. They've got to have sea to rhyme it because it's bad doggerel. By the power of earth, air, fire and sea, this spell is cast, so mote it be. We've discussed so mote it be. You can carry the ribbon with you as a protection charm or place it on your altar in a safe space. What a load of bollocks. That's going to do literally nothing. I'm not even going to offer to send that to somebody because that's not worth the cost of posting it. I might put the rosemary on some lamb. That's just complete bollocks. It's who writes this? It's not written by anybody. Well, I shouldn't be cruel. I shouldn't be cruel because it's probably written by somebody nice. But you know, hey ho. But it leaves us. And this video is going on a bit and I can only apologise for that. But it leaves us with Witch Box Book of Spells. I think I should go Witch Box Book of Spells. It's like pigs in space. Only better, obviously. Oh, and here we are with the Canva formatting. Okay, right. This booklet contains 5 new spells written by our resident English witch. Why is English important? A resident English witch. I read up on this. I think it's just run by a lady and her daughter. Why does she have to call herself the resident English witch? Do you think she sells a lot of these to America, where people might be impressed by them being English? If you're American and watching this, don't be impressed by the fact that I'm English. We're not posh. We're not fancy. We fart like everybody else. Don't be impressed by it, honestly. Right, so use your spell chest to store your magic. What spell chest? I haven't got a spell chest. Well, I've got a chest. It's been with me for a spell since I was about 12. Does that count? I don't know. Right. Use your spell chest to store your magical ingredients or spell casting tools. It is traditional to wrap special tools in black cloth, often velvet. Is it? Maybe. I don't know. Dried herbs are best kept in sealed containers or bags. Cleanse crystals by passing them through incense smoke or holding them under running fresh water before placing them in your chest for storage. Unless they happen to be something that reacts really badly with water. Don't be doing that with your selenite. That's a bad move. We hope you enjoy casting these spells. Remember to act responsibly. I don't know. Enjoying casting spells. I don't know, maybe that's not what it's about. So first of all, I will admit I have looked at these. I don't have time to go through all 5 amazing new spells. The first one is the Guardian's Light spell, which is crafted to invoke protection, clarity and peace. Again, was that not what this was about? Protection, healing and clarity. Protection, clarity and peace. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Really? Healing, peace. The combination of mullein, lilac candles and white ribbon. Oh, white ribbon again. Oh, yeah. Creates a powerful energy for shielding yourself or a space from negativity while inviting calm and spiritual purity. Best performed on a Sunday during a waxing moon. Okay, there's a lot to be said about waxing and waning powers of moon, but there we go. Materials: mullein, lilac candles ×3, white ribbon, small pouch or charm bag, fireproof bowl or cauldron, small piece of paper and pen. So what do? You cleanse your space using your preferred method: smoke, salt or sound. Fair enough. I like that it's not given any more than that. You know what you're doing. Set up the lilac candles in a triangle shape and place your mullein and ribbon in the centre. Take a piece of paper and write a short, clear statement of your intention. For example, I am protected and surrounded by peace and light. Light the lilac candles one by one, saying, as you light each by flame of lilac peace, I seek protection strong yet calm and sweet. Calm and sweet? Toffee, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. Hold the mullein in your hands and visualise it glowing with golden protective energy, saying, herb of guardianship. Bold and... Mullein isn't about guardianship. Mullein is absolutely not a herb of guardianship. It's about courage and strength. But still, anyway, herb of guardianship. Shield my heart, my home, all I pursue. That's not what mullein does. Place the mullein in the centre of your triangle of candles. Wrap the white ribbon around it. Well, if it's powdered mullein, how do you wrap a ribbon around it? That's a bit shit. While visualising your protective energy forming a barrier. What, around the mullein? Or around you? Or what, I don't know. As you tie the ribbon into a knot, say, with this knot I seal my light, protection, strong both day and night, peace within no harm shall break the sacred bond. I now awake. Take a moment to sit quietly, focusing on the candle, feeling protective energy. Oh, it's just shit. It does nothing. Allow the candles to burn for a while, but always safely. Why is everybody so scared to say, let stuff burn? I mean, just honestly, don't be a moron. Don't burn where there's paper nearby or you've got flammable stuff. Although you've got flammable herbs nearby, I suppose. But just sit with it for a while. Honestly, don't just like to go, boom, bad doggerel, I'm gone. And as many people besides me have said, one of the most important things in your witchcraft should be a fire blanket. I mean, honestly. Oh, and then you had to put the bound mullein and place it in a pouch to carry with you for... Maybe they mean like mullein stalks? I don't know, because it's like a really tall herb, is mullein. I don't know, that's weird. I don't know. And everything is using mullein, mugwort and wormwood. Oh, a spell to open the veil. Intuition. Oh, they're using mugwort and wormwood, both Artemisia. Both of the... well, both wormwood and mugwort are liable to bring on lucid dreaming or very light hallucinations, depending on how much you consume in the way of smoke or tea or what have you with them. You've got to be fairly careful with these. And spell for opening the veil. Now, this was the one that Mr. Gock and I looked at. This is, they're using wormwood, mugwort and mullein to burn and inhale the smoke and open the veil. But yeah, they will absolutely do that when consumed in smoke or tea formats. They will encourage lucid dreaming. They will enable you to journey into your subconscious much more effectively. But it says nothing about how to be careful. It says mugwort can induce hallucinations, therefore always work in a well-ventilated space when burning herbs. Use this spell sparingly, as wormwood is a potent herb that requires respect. But it says sparingly and well ventilated, but it doesn't tell you anything about the amounts or how to do this or really warning you about what you should be doing. That's kind of worrying. But it also says you open the veil. It doesn't say anything about how you close it again afterwards. I don't see anything in there about protecting yourself while you're journeying there. And theoretically, all you do is you open it and then you close it. That's it. Woo. I don't know. So, Book of Spells, that was rubbish. So, I don't know. I paid £15 for that. And I think the embroidery kit, although it wasn't even slightly witchy, the embroidery kit and the incense and the notebook were probably worth it, I feel, because they were quite good. But anything written by their resident English witch, once again, don't be impressed by the fact that we've got a slightly different accent. Honestly, we're all arseholes. So yeah, it's just pants. It's not telling you if she's initiated into any traditions. Is she Alexandrian, Gardnerian? She learned from Buckland, unlikely if she's English. Where did she learn this stuff? Traditional, Cochranian? Where does this stuff come from? Where is any of this referenced? Why is, and this is always going to be my question, why is any of this meant to work? Because I don't think it does. It's poo. Poker badger. There we go. That's it was an experience, wasn't it? Would I recommend it? Probably not. Probably not. But I do have the witch casket one coming, so you'll probably get another incredibly long video of me rattling on about that one as well. I don't know how I feel about that. Do bear in mind, however, I should say that this was a cut price one which was made up from things left over from other boxes. So maybe the themed boxes themselves are better. I would say that if you decide to get this, please be very careful about following any of these instructions. Yeah, the notebook was nice. The pendulum was nice. Not very useful for me, but still nice. Anybody want an embroidery kit? Hit me up. Right, on we go. So I am going to be checking out the witch casket one later on this week. I'm curious to see what it's like and how useful this sort of thing can be to people. I'm hoping the witch casket one is a little bit better because that's the one that gets a lot of advertising circulation on the major social media sites. So we will see. But anyway, we're going to go on now to, after a very long time, I apologise for this, the positive bit. Here comes the positive bit. So, we attended this little magical market yesterday as a way of testing out how both Mr. Grumpy Old Crone and my things might fit into kind of a different sort of event, the steampunk sort of thing that we normally do. It was a really interesting experience. We met some really wonderful people. So I did a little iPhone video. So here's our stall setup. Grumpy Old Crone out and about. Here we are at, oh there we go, Mr. Grumpy Old Crone. Here we are trading at Callow Community Centre in Chesterfields. Here's the stall. Here we have Bert the Witcher. Hello Bert. And Ambrose's, they go on your arms, belts, potion bottles, barrettes, bracelets, non-magical wands. Those are dress wands, not enchanted. Those ones. He's enchanting though. Oh, bless him. Oh. More belts. He's been going like the crackers, and he's got another raven cauldron. I love the raven cauldron so much. Pouches, hero belts for heroes only. Skirt hitches when your skirt is too long. Silk hair falls. Oh, these are new. These are new. My son Jared has done Mjolnirs. Sapele Mjolnirs. Sapele being a really protected wood from Africa. So we've got meditation beads here, hand knotted by me. All sorts. Here are the incenses and the ritual oils. And a whole lot of really pretty biography, altar plates, and Bertha in the battle corset. And at the end, more pauldrons. Here we go. I always find it interesting to see who attends different sorts of events and how they interact with both the event and the individual traders and each other. It's kind of like advanced people watching, with people occasionally buying things from you, which is quite nice. I was really surprised at the sort of things that people bought, actually. We had a huge run on hair barrettes, but not a single larger piece of leatherware, which is kind of completely different to what usually happens. Also, loads of people were interested in the pyrography that I do, but were really confused about what one would use incense or ritual oil for. I had to explain why the midsummer oil was called Demeter oil. I mean, I was bemused that I had to explain to people who Demeter was. Maybe I should have said Demeter. Demeter. I don't know. Anybody Greek, tell me how I should be pronouncing that. But anyway, I was confused that I had to explain A, who Demeter was, and B, what ritual oil would be used for. And I had to do it quite a lot, which is not necessarily something that I would have expected to do an ostensibly magic market. I mean, it's probably just down to me having a weird concept of what other people's practice looks like, though. I mean, I did have this experience at another market that we did a few years back, where I discovered myself having to repeatedly have an explanation about what runes were. I mean, literally about what runes actually were. And then off the back of that, I had to explain what bind runes were. And then off the back of that, I had to explain how to use a protective bind rune in your house, which I was selling like on pyrographed bind runes, which have been blessed and sained on my altar. I mean, after you've had to explain what runes are, what bind runes are, how you use bind runes in your house, needless to say, we didn't sell any of them, I don't think. But, you know, all that being said, we also sold one of Jared's yew wands to a wonderful witch from New Zealand who obviously and instantly connected with it. She couldn't take a hand off it and bought it immediately. She understood implicitly when I said I hadn't consecrated because it was sold as a blank slate for the practitioner who bought it. So, you know, it's like this real mix of people, which I really enjoyed. I also have to say, and this will be of importance to nobody except myself, but I ate the nicest muffin I have ever experienced. It was a salted caramel one, and it tasted like my mum's much loved and much missed steamed sponge pudding. My only regret is that I didn't buy another one to eat when I got home. Probably better for the diet though, now I think about it. Anyway, Mr. Grumpy Old Crone thoroughly enjoyed giving a talk about armouring and swords, and dressed up both the father and son in the Witcher Bert armour, which they seemed to have a blast wearing. Nobody got murdered with swords or accidentally cut with any Athames, so I'll take that as a win as well. Our next trading event is at the end of August at the huge Steampunk Festival, Welcome to the Asylum in Lincoln, which gives us a little bit of time to get some stock levels sorted out and start another online project that I have had at the planning stage for quite a while now. More news as I get it rolling. Anyway, I'm going to go off and buy some new midsummer candles while I have some time free this afternoon. And as I'm recording this on June the 15th, the day after what I will now think of as No King's Day for the US, I would just like to say, as a Terry Pratchett fan, nae king, nae queen, nae laird, nae meester, we will nae be fooled again. Knack McFeagles, yes. Strength to your arms, courage to your hearts, and power to your magic, my crony friends. Bye!